Welcome to MOTORVAULT. I am Josh, and this is a 1987 Porsche 924S. The Porsche 924 was birthed in 1976. The 924 is the first front-engine, rear-wheel drive configuration car that Porsche had ever made. The 928 and the 944 were in a similar ballpark, but the 924 came first. Originally, the 924 was powered by a 2-liter, 4-cylinder with a little bit over 100 horsepower and originally came with a 4-speed manual transmission. A few years later, the 5-speed manual transmission was offered along with a turbocharged option. One thing that made the 924 so special in Porsche's lineup is unlike the 911, which was a really cool but expensive option, the 924 filled a really fun gap for a lightweight, affordable German sports car. By 1984, Volkswagen had dropped the 2-liter 4-cylinder, leaving the 924 in a weird spot, not having an engine to go along with the car, even though Porsche still wanted to continue on with the 924. So by 1986, Porsche and VW came out with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with 150 horsepower from the prior 123 horsepower, giving the 924 a little bit more beef at the end of its life. The 924 lasted until 1988, and with the final 3 years, the S variant, which this is one of them, had the 150 horsepower engine, had the 5-speed manual transmission, and really helped send off Porsche's front engine, lightweight, fun little sports car. With the Porsche 924 compared to the 924S, what made the S different was the 2.5-liter compared to the prior 2-liter, the updated suspension, and the 944 style brakes. This particular example is finished in guards red over black and is a 2-owner vehicle. This 924 has always lived its life in the state of Indiana and has been very well maintained, including recently with over the last 2 years being north of $12,000 of mechanical receipts completed on this car. This 924 is currently riding on brand new Michelin Defenders, which are with the correct 15-inch 924S wheels. After inspecting the paint on this 924, we believe that this paint is original, given the paint meter readings around the car and showing its nice original condition. This 924S only shows 36,000 original miles and is in very nice original condition. A few factory options on this 924 is the power windows, the power sunroof, the air conditioning, and radio. One thing cars like the 924 prove is that you do not need to have a lot of horsepower to have a lot of fun. Even though this car has 150 horsepower, the 2,635 pound weight makes this car an absolute blast to drive, especially around windy corners. Guards red, black interior, Porsche, 5-speed, pop-up headlights. It's hard to beat that. Next up, we're gonna head to Putnam Park Road Course to let Dan Clarke get behind the wheel and shake down the 924.
1987 Porsche 924S, 2.5 liter, manual, pretty cool, 5-speed. This car's only got 36,000 miles on it. Track my wristband pass, get on track. Mint condition. Fresh tires. It's a different kind of car, and there's a lot to be said for that different kind of driving experience. You know, a lot of people think track driving, that means lap time. So what can I buy that's going to give me the best lap time? And what are all the whys and hows of picking the right car for that? But often people sometimes really just don't think about, well, I also have this other car at home, which is really pristine 924S. I wonder if I could take that to the track. And really, you know, if you're at a racetrack, you got the freedom and the track time. There's a lot to be said for bringing something that isn't here to post the fastest lap times, but it's here to experience a piece of history somewhere other than on just the street. And don't get me wrong, there are obviously some great driving roads if you can find them on the streets, but then on the track really just allows you to experience the full kind of extent of capabilities of a car like this. And less horsepower just means you have to do everything else a bit better as a driver, and I should say you get rewarded more when you can do that stuff better. Again, low horsepower means maximize momentum, and you know, I'm having a lot of fun here. This is cool. Obviously this car doesn't have the kind of horsepower numbers people expect in today's world. It's a pretty iconic piece of automotive vehicle, and this one is a mega pristine representation of it. Everything works. Everything is pretty manual and mechanical, so that's something you're not going to get with a modern car, including power steering. Nowadays you get electric power steering, and you don't get as much feedback through the steering wheel. And one thing I always like about older cars like this is the feeling you get from everything. Yeah, there isn't a ton of horsepower. You're not going to buy this car if you're looking to get pushed back in the seats every time you gas it up at the stoplights. But what you are going to get is a driving experience where you have to do everything. And so with that means if you do everything right, like the shifting, all that kind of stuff, then you get this ultra rewarding feeling as a driver, having to essentially become part of almost every actuation in the car, the shifting, the braking, the steering, and you get all this feedback through the steering wheel that you don't get with a modern car as well. So you get this rewarding experience of kind of having to become part of the car just to be able to execute all these things correctly. And so it's not an experience of going blindingly fast. It's not going through corners at a rate that's going to blow your mind, because it wasn't designed for that. But it means that if you want to feel like you're part of a piece of machinery on a track as well, or on the street, this is the kind of car for that. And because it's only got 160 horsepower, what that really means is you just have more time to think about things, to recognize things, because it's, you know, it goes without saying that making the transitions seamless through corners, braking, turning in, getting to the apex, getting the car rotated, going to the gas, it's going to give you an opportunity to just work with a really mechanical piece of machinery. And that means if you can't do it right, it doesn't feel good. But if you do it right, it feels mega. It feels like you became one with something. And that's what I like about older cars. It's especially if they don't have a lot of horsepower. They reward all that seamless execution way better with a bit of momentum, being able to carry through corners when you can get your downshifting just right, nice and smooth so it doesn't upset the grip, those kinds of things.